I'll do the intro later. Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 85. It is the last day of the week, aka the shotgun dropkick workout. Looking forward to it. Legs feel fine, I'm feeling fine, a little tired but nothing too crazy. Looking forward to doing this. My morning weight this morning was 195.3, so in the right direction, which is nice. Today's video, I didn't feel like doing anything, so I was like, all right, let me look at the list here. And then I looked at the list, and what did I see? Procrastination. And that is something that usually happens to me on Friday videos. Usually on Fridays videos, they don't come out at the typical time that I usually set them at usually, which is at 1. I usually try to do them to all premiere at 1 p.m. That's just like the general thing that I like to do. But Fridays, as always, gets delayed because of procrastination, time constraints. There are certain things that come up, I'm not gonna lie. You know, Thursdays for some reason always become randomly busy for me. With that being said, procrastination is something that I deal with a lot. I don't know why it is something that comes up in my life. It's mostly with work related things. I like sitting down at a desk for a while. For some reason, whenever I focus hard and concentrate hard, I can get it done in a relatively quick matter of time. But for some reason, there's a lot of the times where I don't feel like doing anything, and I don't feel like sitting there concentrating. When editing, I've talked about it before, I won't go too into depth about it, but when editing, or basically anything on the computer, you get into a certain groove that happens, and if you don't get into the groove, it's hard to get in and out of the groove, if that makes any sense. For me personally, when getting into the groove of like editing, it's like once I get in there, I'm zoned in. Like I just want to like get to the end as quickly as possible, and I'm going as quickly as possible, you know, which happens, but it's hard to get into that groove. So when I'm out of it, small things will distract me, things outside my desk and all that other jazz, websites, the rest of the computer, conversations outside of the computer, you know, checking out websites, videos, whatever. It all just comes together to distract myself, and it's tough. It's tough. Maybe this video today is more of a like just trying to figure out what the fuck happens and why I procrastinate so much. Maybe more of a trying to figure that entire thing out on my own and like working it out through a video, because that's how I like to do it nowadays. But procrastination is something I suffered from back in school a lot, which I will tell story times about. I've actually discussed a couple of stories about that a few times before, but nothing in detail. I'll probably give some more details about that, but it has been a problem for like 90% of my life, I would say. So it is something that I feel like, all right, I'm older, I'm a little bit wiser, why is this still happening? I don't quite understand it personally. You know, sometimes it's just like the allure of other things to do versus sitting there doing something that is quote productive, you know, is tough. But it's weird. It's like for certain things, like for example for the gym, I can get up immediately and just go, you know what I mean? Like there's no like hesitation. The only hesitations I really ever have before going to the gym is if my stomach's feeling a little growly. You know, I try to get that settled before going, because I do not want to have to deal with using those bathrooms over there, and I think that's a fair judgment. I think most people would want to take care of that when they can and then not have to deal with the public bathrooms, but that's a little bit of a different story. It's more, you know, just randomly based on food selection and a whole bunch of other shit. But even then, that's the only thing that would delay me from going to the gym. That isn't like actual, like I need to go do X, Y, or Z before the gym because it is for the utmost importance and stuff. But it's strange. Maybe it is because I like going to the gym. Maybe I don't love editing as much as I would think I love editing, but I do enjoy the process. It's just getting into it. Maybe it's one of those things that maybe after a while, like I wouldn't say I've become jaded to the entire process, but it's just kind of like, all right, half my life is now spent editing though, but I mean there's nothing really much else that I'm doing, so it is what it is. But I don't know, it's just something strange. And it's not just with editing though. I'm very much a procrastinator at heart, which is kind of annoying. It's one of my probably worst traits. I know that I can just hold out to do something until the very end if I can, and that's not good. But probably go into more detail and probably some story times too on the inside. Alright, so start this day off with hack squats, which were tough as hell. I was not a fan of these, but it is what it is. They needed to get done, so they got done. But anyways, so to go back to the subject matter at hand, procrastination. I am a big procrastinator. when it comes to a lot of stuff, it's what I do and what I do best. And I think school has a lot to do with that, personally. My one issue, I will tell you, I'll go through some of the stories that I would do. Basically, the last like 3 semesters of college, I was procrastinating on basically 90% of all of my assignments, mostly because I could get away with it, but 2, also because I kept doing well while doing it. So procrastinating ended up being a okay thing for me to do back in school, which is kind of crazy to think about, but that's really what would happen. So for example, we would have a class, let's just say, I'm gonna say just JavaScript class. In the JavaScript class, there's only 4 major assignments throughout the entire 8 weeks of the semester. So in the 8 weeks of the semester, I have 4 assignments to do. I have 3 assignments that are due on week 7 of 8, and then 1 assignment, which is the final, on week 8 of 8 due. That's literally how a lot of the structures of a lot of the classes would go. So I would literally just wait until the last week and just do the first 3 assignments in 3-day successions, just 1, 2, 3, and then do the final assignment at the very end, at the last day. And of course, this would bite me in the ass a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for example, it would be like I'd be rushing until like midnight to do all of these assignments. But the thing is, I ended up getting A's on everything, basically. The only thing I didn't get an A on was a B. I got a B on a paper that I ended up doing in a whole other country, technically. I actually did it when I was on a trip in India. I had a little bit of time to do it, so that should tell you how much of the procrastination was even then. But that was a whole other story too. I had to get ready for that entire trip, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole story for a different day. But still, the thing that made it kind of worse in a way is that it was reinforced by school in the fact that I was still doing very well without the need to have to do better beforehand. So I was getting A's even with procrastinating. So it was like, it kept reinforcing it, so I kept doing it because I just was like, all right, I know I don't need time. So it may be something like along the lines of like pressure builds diamonds, which is a whole other episode in its entirety, but I don't think that's necessarily accurate for these types of things. It's more just so that I was very confident in my skills, I guess, a little bit, but also I probably could have saved myself a little bit of headache, heartache, and also stress if I had just done them sooner, and I would have still gotten a fucking A on them. It's just for some reason I like saving it to the very end for some reason. I don't know what it is about there being a time limit on certain things like that. It does help a little bit. Like trying to have these videos out the next day or in like a decent amount of time in between them actually does help me produce them slightly better. Because if it was just like on my leisure time or like whenever I would like to, it would be, honestly, wouldn't be made as quickly as they could be. I would probably take a while, I'd probably add a bunch of stuff and do all that jazz. But I like the idea of there being a time limit as to when they're going to go up and stuff like that, which is good because then that way I can post it up with decent amount of time. But I'm also like, if I can go as long as I can without having to do anything, I'd like to do that. It's harder with these videos because it's more of a like my own thing. Personally, when it comes to procrastination, it was like school really enforced it, and now I'm trying to get out of that. I'm trying to get out of being such a procrastinator because there have been enough times in my life where I do procrastinate on things, and it has bitten me in the ass, but it's not necessarily for some reason. School never really fucked me over, even though school is like the main reason why you get fucked over, really, you know, in procrastination. But for some reason, it never did to me, so that was very interesting. It'd be like the one place where you'd think it would, but it did not work like that. And it's not even like a lack of concentration or something like that. I can concentrate very well on some things that I need to get done. It's not like I can sit there being like, oh, I got blah, 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 blah. I am a very easily distracted person, I'll say that. But with that being said, when I concentrate, I concentrate. I am locked in and in the zone. It's just concentrating on getting into the zone is a little bit tough sometimes. Because sometimes I just don't want to do it, you know? Even in something like this voiceover, I'm like, all right, here you go. Time to sit down and actually do it. And it sucks a little bit, but at the same time, it's not too hard to get out of it. Maybe it's something about growing up and realizing what's going on. Also eliminating a bunch of stuff around me, which I started doing because there's a lot around me that I can get rid of to try to focus more on stuff like this. Because even this channel, even though it's still in its infancy, I feel like it is doing
a lot for me personally, so I'm just going to continue to do it as much as I can. So hopefully as time progresses, I'll procrastinate less and get more and more things done. So I have to wait and see. I should really start treating everything like the gym, where I progressively overload everything and just keep getting better and better at it. That'd probably make the most sense. It seems as though the way to go, and I think I'm gonna just do that.
Don't worry, little buddy. I'm gonna take you to a place where hopefully they can patch you up and let you go, okay? Hello, and we're back with the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in. Right now I am off to something I didn't think I was going to do, but I saw an opportunity to do something nice for the world, so I'm going to do it. In behind me there is a box over here, as you can see right there, that contains a bird that is dying. I saw it in the garage here, so I was like, all right, let me go take care of this thing. I'm gonna try to take a picture of it before I forget, just for documentation purposes, but I'm gonna try to take it to a wildlife foundation thing here. It is like bloody a little bit, and he can barely fly, so I'm like, all right, let me take this thing. He let me pick him up, and I put him in the box. Right now he's like hitting the edge of it, so he wants to get out, but hopefully I can go to this humane society real quick that's around here and see if they'll do something with him, or like patch him up. It's for any wildlife really, so we'll have to wait and see how this goes. I'm gonna just leave him there, but very random. I didn't think I would be doing this, but also at the same time I feel bad for this animal. I would feel wrong just leaving it there and or delaying it for a later time to do something about it. So I'm doing it now, and I think that's the main thing about procrastination that I think I need to learn, is that I need to stop procrastinating so much and just start doing things when they come up. You know, sure, this is just a random animal that, you know, who knows what's gonna happen, but I need to be more on top of things on my own versus staying there hoping to God that things will happen, and or making it so things will happen so late that it doesn't necessarily even matter anymore. So that's the one thing about procrastination, is working on it. I think doing things to make sure that you can get past it and get through it is the best way possible to do things. So that's just me personally, but it is one of those demons that I still fight with every single time when doing stuff, and I'm probably gonna fight with it right now when I get home to do editing and stuff, but it will be a battle that'll be there forever. Hopefully I'll just get stronger at going against it, because procrastination, not a fun thing, not a good thing to have, not a good trait. You can get rid of it, try to get rid of it, but if you can't, try to get around it. That's the other thing too. I think that's my big issue, is not getting around it. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and everything about procrastination in general. Jesus. And also I will probably give you an update on the entire bird situation if I get one, or if this place even accepts him. So that'll be something. If they don't, then I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will be back on tomorrow with something new. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.